Morning, viewers. Chris Meeks here. Meeks Entertainment. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Sipping on tea this morning. It's foggy. I'm in the car. About to go on a delivery this morning. Yep. I used to be a delivery driver back in the day. And story goes, I started out a very, very, very long time ago in logistics and delivery in the city of Houston. And I'm going to tell you guys the story while I drive, because it's kind of a hands-free thing. But anyway, story goes, I started out driving for a company called DSI Incorporated. That was an old parts company out here in Houston, Texas, back in the day. And, well, they're not around anymore. But what they was a car parts delivery service. And their main station was out at this place called Charlie Thomas Chevrolet. It was a Chevrolet dealer in town. My job was to go there, pick up parts every morning, and pretty much just go where they tell me to go with the parts. Drop them off or pick them up, bring them back. That was the objective. So anyway, I did that for a while, and after that kind of fizzled out there at Charlie Thomas Chevrolet, they moved me over, same company, to another branch of the company, I guess, because I don't really know why, but I know I got moved to another place called Napa Auto Parts. Then the Napa Auto Parts that I was stationed at was in South Houston at an electric company at the time. They were called Houston Light and Power, something like that. HL&P is what they called them. Anyway, they had this big old giant warehouse maintenance property, this big giant place where they distributed, I guess, electrical parts, and they did all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I was stationed there because Napa Auto Parts, they had a distribution center for all the electrical trucks, the utility trucks for the company. And Napa Auto Parts was inside of there, and that's what they used for, fixing the big trucks and stuff, the utility trucks. So anyways, I was running parts between power companies, and that put me running some really long distances, because most of these power companies, like South Houston was like the main distribution A point, and then the rest of the locations was like, Rosenberg, Galveston, Freeport, Lake Jackson, and just all kinds of different places, like way out, way away from where I was stationed at. So anyway, I ended up doing that for a while, and then I got off into delivering newspapers. Not really newspapers, but publication books. And then I went to work. It seemed like I was jobless for a while, and I needed a job, and a buddy of mine, his mom, she was like the manager, one of the managers over at this company called Distributech in Houston, Texas. So I went to work with her putting out the publication books. I believe, if you guys remember back in the early days, some of you may remember like Hometown Shopper, Remax, For Sale by Owner, Apartment Guide, stuff like that. And that was my job, was to go around to all these stores around the north side of Houston into apartment complexes, putting out the apartment guide, and then I would go and put all the books in for Distributech at these stores. Now, her ex-boyfriend, which was a really cool dude, I met him because he was my friend's stepdad and all for a long time, and I did meet him and started working for him too on the side, and that's a whole same type of delivery for publications, but a whole different ball game altogether. And then I ended up working for Houston Press, putting the newspaper in on that route. So after Distributech there, I got fired from Distributech because I was doing, real good for a long time, and they had this pet peeve about scrapping some of the books for recycle and stuff to get gas money and stuff like that. So a lot of us drivers, we would sell paper stock. Once we pull all the old papers in the truck, then we would be able to go by the recycle yard, drop off all the paper that we had on board that was expired, and then collect the money and use it for gas. But a lot of the people would start just going to these places, start a job, and go load up their trucks and head straight to the recycling yard and never deliver the books. So that was being a trend there for a while here in Houston, and I think they cracked down on it. But I got cracked down on because I ended up throwing a few out too that was up to date, and I got busted too, and I got fired over it. But anyways, after I left Distributech or whatever, for that, because Jason's mom, she told me a couple times, and I don't know, man. I threw some books out, but I didn't need the books that I had, and we were doubling up on some of the publications, so in case we did run out, and we wanted to make sure that we did have some extra paper, for recycling. But anyways, that's a long story, man, that I got in trouble for it, got fired, and went to work for her ex-boyfriend, Jim Price. He was also one of the guys from the Rock 101 KLOL. I don't know if many of you remember that radio station here out in Houston, but there was a rock station out here, and he was one of the guys that worked with Stevens and Pruitt on that show. And anyway, they did a lot of advertising and whatnot. Anyways, I ended up working for him, and I was doing all kinds of publications, including the homosexual magazine for men in Houston. And it had me going to some weird places, man, and some of these bars to go in real quick and drop the book or paper into the little racks or whatever, man. And I didn't like it, not one bit. But I had a few publications that I had to do for him. That was that. Then I had some weird stuff, man. Some weird pubs, like some real Masonic stuff, man, and even some Luciferian publications and stuff. That I'd find myself going to this one weird place, man, over in the Heights, and it's like this building, man. It's like a brick building, but as soon as you pull up, it's like, man, you feel like you're being watched by a million eyes, and then it's silent, and nobody comes out, and I couldn't figure out where to put the pub at. It wasn't but about a little stack of 6 or 7 publications about like that for them too, from some type of Luciferian magazine. And anyway, I would put these publications in, man, all around Houston. As a matter of fact, when I was working for Jim, I got that extra side gig with the Houston Press, and kind of implemented my route with the Houston Press, kind of implemented that route in with the Jim's route. So I kind of had a pretty big route going there, and I did that for a while, but before all that, seems like I was running some hot shot delivery. Yeah, before all that. Yeah, even before DSI and Charlie Thomas Chevrolet, I worked for a company in town I forgot to tell you guys about at the very beginning. Was Apple Courier. And I was running for a courier service. And man, let me tell you, man, old Bernie, was the one that kept me moving. See, that story I was telling you guys about Jim, it was making me forget all about how I learned the city of Houston, how to travel around. And this was before GPS. We didn't have GPS back then. We had what was called a key map. And, you know, we had to have one. All the drivers had to have an up-to-date Rand McNally to work for this guy key map. Because, man, he was going to take you to some places you're going to need a key map. A GPS would have been a genius idea back then. But I still don't know if a GPS would have worked, because key map's better because you can plan out your own route during high traffic hours. Because to be a hotshot driver in Houston and to get something from one side of town to the other side of town that's riding hot, which means it's 1 hour, you really got a truck, you know what I'm saying? So you got to know what you're doing to be, because normally to be from one side of town during traffic hour to the other side of town is about a 3-hour trip in Houston. So for someone like me to know how to get from one side of town in Houston to the other side of town, get it in an hour, it's actually a 3-hour trip for most people. You got to really know some pig trails. So I figured out a lot of pig trails, man, and boy howdy did I get a lot of deliveries on time. But then again, sometimes it's just literally impossible to get the stops in order and on perfect time. Anyways, that was with Apple Courier. I had a good time running for Bernie. He was located over there in the Heights too, but last time I drove through there, all that was tore down, and they had townhouses built all in there where his courier service was located. Anyway, some of you from Houston might even know Apple Courier, heard of them. Anyways, I was running all types of delivery for, I mean, a good 12, 13 years here in Houston. But anyways, I appreciate everybody listening to my story this morning. And yeah, I got to get this here delivery out. I'm delivering some auto parts this morning, but this is for myself. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful day out there. You always keep in mind that we're blessed by the best. And I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And that's about all I got on it. So maybe if you want, you heard of any of these places or any of this stuff I was talking about, leave me a little line in the comments. Until next time, Meeks out. Later.